Heartwarming twist, single dad's incredible journey with the babysitter revealed as CEO's secret. Mark Thomas looked out the window of his modest blue home, the sun casting a warm glow on the timid flowers he and Lily had planted together. Moments like this reminded him of everything he had fought for since his wife left. Most days, he felt like a lone ship in the stormy seas of fatherhood, but with Lily, his spunky 7-year-old daughter, by his side, the world felt lighter. They filled their evenings with laughter, baking cookies, or setting a new record for game nights. He didn't have fancy decor or the newest gadgets, but the love in their small home was undeniable. So when Jenna, a college student with sun-kissed hair and an infectious smile, stepped into their lives as the new babysitter, everything began to shift. Full of youthful energy, she effortlessly lightened the house, making Lily squeal with delight as they sang off-key to pop songs. Mark would catch himself stealing glances at them from the kitchen, his heart swelling each time Lily erupted into laughter. Just a few blissful hours spent with Jenna felt like a taste of normalcy amidst the chaos of his tight schedule, but amid the lightheartedness, a shadow danced across Mark's heart. He couldn't ignore the growing chemistry between him and Jenna. Whenever their eyes met, something awakened inside him that had long been dormant. Guilt washed over him at the thought of pursuing something more with someone so young, so free. How could he let his heart drift when his priority was his daughter? As summer days passed, the community of Maplewood Lane clung to its unspoken rules. Mark felt pressure not only from the upcoming bills but also from glances of judgment coming from his affluent neighbors, their towering mansions a constant reminder of his financial struggles. They didn't understand the sacrifices he made to provide for Lily, and they certainly looked down on his humble living. Thoughts of accepting a better job that would offer more stability danced around in his mind, but it would mean spending more time away from his daughter, something he could hardly bear. Then came news that sent shockwaves through their small town. The local bakery, a cherished pillar of the community, was closing its doors for good. It ignited a spark within Mark, the aching to make a difference unexpectedly intertwined with Jenna's presence. Together they became an unstoppable duo, rallying the community to save the bakery, forging connections that transcended social status. Yet, in the heart of this shared mission, a revelation threatened to unravel everything. One sweltering afternoon, Jenna dropped a bombshell: her estranged father was the CEO of Maplewood Incorporated, the wealthiest entity in town, with expectations that suffocated her spirit. The room filled with a heavy silence as Mark processed the weight of her words. Their worlds felt impossibly intertwined, overwhelming him with fear and uncertainty. Could he break through the barriers of class differences as they fought for the bakery? Before he could comprehend what it all meant, the echoes of the bakery's impending closure loomed larger than ever. Would he stand still or take a leap? His heart raced, and as thoughts collided, he heard Lily laughing in the adjacent room. That sound reminded him of everything that mattered. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Mark felt a swelling resolve. They gathered townsfolk, armed with passion, hope, and determination. Yet he also sensed the skepticism in some hearts, particularly as he prepared for an unexpected confrontation with Jenna's wealthy father, who had begun to sniff around town with his high-status air. His powerful presence felt ominous, and Mark stood trembling on the precipice of the unknown. Would he embrace this unexpected journey alongside Jenna and carve out a new future? The community, his daughter, and that lingering call for unity held their breath, waiting for Mark's next move. As the sun dipped beneath the horizon, casting a golden hue over Maplewood Lane, Mark gathered his thoughts. The night air buzzed with anticipation from the townsfolk who had shown up for the community meeting. It felt like a pivotal moment, and yet, all Mark could think about was the weight of Jenna's words. Her father's looming presence over them felt like a thunderstorm ready to break. He stood at the front of the small gathering, his heart thudding in his chest as he adjusted the microphone. The faces that stared back at him were filled with a mix of hope, fear, and quiet skepticism. People were hungry for change, and Mark knew he had to channel that energy into a rallying cry. "Thank you all for being here today," he began, his voice steady despite the turbulence inside him. "We're not just fighting to save a bakery. We're fighting to keep the heart of our community alive. This place, these people are worth the fight." Applause erupted, and Mark felt the adrenaline rush through him like a wave. He caught Jenna's gaze, and her encouraging smile ignited a fire within him. Her earlier confession about her father had unsettled him, but now, as she stood beside him, he felt supported. She was more than just the babysitter, she had become a crucial ally in this battle. As the night wore on, Mark outlined their plan. They would organize a bake sale to raise funds, reach out to local businesses for sponsorships, and host community events to bring in donations. The energy in the room shifted from skepticism to excitement, and Mark could see the spark of hope ignite in his neighbor's eyes. However, between the enthusiasm and planning, doubts flickered in Mark's mind. What would Jenna's father think? Would he swoop in like a hawk to silence their efforts? A worrisome knot tightened in his stomach at the thought of a confrontation. He stole a glance towards Jenna, who was animatedly discussing ideas with Lily. She hadn't shown a hint of fear. As if sensing his internal struggle, Jenna approached Mark during a lull in the meeting. "Hey," she said softly. "You were amazing up there. I know it's a lot, but we're all in this together." "Thanks," Mark replied, his voice low. "But I can't shake the feeling that once your dad finds out what we're trying to do, he'll shut us down." She hesitated, her brow furrowing in thought. "We have to stand firm. I want to fight for this bakery too, for our community. I just didn't want it to come to this." Mark reached out, squeezing her shoulder gently. "And I didn't want any of this to affect you. This is about showcasing what matters most, our families, our home." Just then, the meeting took a sharp turn as a loud voice interrupted. "Mark. We want to hear about the plan to save the bakery. But what do you think your future might look like if Jenna's father blocks you?" A man from the back of the room, Ben, whose opinion mattered significantly, stood crossing his arms. All eyes shifted back to Mark. Would the community still trust him now, after the revelation of Jenna's parentage? Could they even believe in the dream he had painted? "Look," Mark replied, gathering his thoughts and putting on a brave face. "This isn't just about one person's power over another. This is about all of us believing in what we can achieve together. We can make this work." The conversation grew more heated. Mark could see the doubts creeping into faces he had hoped would rally behind him. He swallowed hard, knowing the upcoming confrontation with Jenna's father would define everything. As the meeting concluded and voices echoed in the night air, a chill ran through him. He cast a glance at Jenna, and as their eyes locked, an unspoken determination passed between them. He wouldn't let fear win. But as they stepped outside into the cool night, a sleek car pulled up, its headlights cutting through the darkness, illuminating the path ahead. "What now?" Mark murmured, heart racing. The door opened, and a familiar figure emerged, his face framed by the car's glow. Jenna's father. Their confrontation loomed in the distance, and Mark sensed that. Everything, his dreams, his daughter's joy, and a community's hope rested precariously on the knife's edge. Could he stand his ground against a man who had the power to change his fate forever? Mark's breath caught in his throat as Jenna's father stepped out of the car, his silhouette striking against the fading light. The air thickened with tension, and Mark felt a phantom weight pressing down on his chest. He tried to maintain his composure, but the intimidating presence of the man who had been Jenna's protector all her life sent a shiver down his spine. "Mark," Jenna's father said, his voice smooth but edged like sharpened glass. "I didn't expect to find you here." Jenna moved instinctively closer to Mark, her body subconsciously shielding him. "Dad, we have to talk," she said, a fire igniting in her eyes. Mark has a plan to save the bakery, and we're going to make it happen. The bakery? Her father's voice turned colder. You think you can take on a corporation? This isn't a game, Jenna. You're getting involved in matters that are above your head. Mark swallowed hard, feeling the room around him shrink to just the three of them. Mr. Thompson, with all due respect, we're not trying to take on anyone. We just want to preserve something that means so much to our community. A flicker of surprise crossed Jenna's father's expression, quickly replaced by skepticism. And you think you can make a difference? You in a group of what? Grandmothers selling cookies? Her father's dismissive words felt like a slap. Mark clenched his fists, fighting to keep his voice steady. The people in this town care about each other. We're willing to fight for our traditions. Traditions? Mr. Thompson scoffed, stepping closer, invincible and imposing. What you're really doing is wasting everyone's time. You'd be much better off knowing your place. Dad. Jenna's voice broke through, fierce and commanding. This is my decision. You can't just assume I'll do what you want. The air crackled with unspoken tensions. Mark could see the vulnerability in Jenna's expression, the way she stood tall against a mountain of expectations. His heart ached for her, but he also felt a surge of hope. Maybe they could unite against this overpowering force. I admire your passion, Jenna, Mr. Thompson said, turning his gaze towards her. But you don't see the bigger picture. You're naive. Mark took a breath, shaking off his apprehension. I may not know everything, but I do know our community. If we stand together, we can achieve something great. Not just for the bakery, but for all of us. A moment of silence hung thick over them, the weight of their unspoken words pressed down like a heavy blanket. Then, unexpectedly, Jenna's father turned slightly, barely a fraction, but it caught both their attention. Let us say you succeed, he began slowly, almost thoughtfully. What happens when our banks are empty and people start leaving Maplewood for bigger towns? Mark took a step forward, his voice rising with energy. Then we fight harder, and we build something new together. Not just for us, this is for our children's future. Jenna's father eyed him critically, assessing the competition in front of him. Something shifted in the air, a breeze, perhaps the hint of possibility. But before Mark could read the change, Jenna's father straightened. You may have the community's heart, Mark, but I have the resources to crush you both. Jenna's hand tightened around Mark's, their fingers interlocking in unspoken solidarity. You underestimate us, Dad. We refuse to let fear dictate our path. As the tension reached its peak, Mark's heart pounded wildly. Despite the looming threat, there was a fierce energy building between him, Jenna, and the stakes of their fight. The future felt uncertain, yet vibrant with possibilities. Mark could feel it deep in his bones, the strength of the community around them and the bond he was forging with Jenna. Their confrontation now faded into a questionnaire of allies. Would they rally behind the bakery, or would Jenna's father use his power to crush their dreams? Each moment pulsed with intensity, leaving a haunting question echoing through Mark's mind as the night deepened. What was he truly willing to sacrifice to protect the heart of Maplewood? Mark stared into Jenna's eyes, searching for reassurance. She met his gaze with a fierce determination that washed over him like a warm wave. They stood united, but they needed more than resolve. They needed a plan. Mr. Thompson shifted, his brow knitting tighter. The challenge in the air was palpable. You two really believe you can turn this around? It's not just a fight against me, it's against a system that doesn't care for sentimentality. His voice thundered, casting a shadow of doubt. But Jenna stepped forward, her voice steady. Daddy, the bakery isn't just a business. It's history. It's about the people who poured their love into it. Their stories are woven into those walls. And we will do everything to protect that. Mark felt a swell of admiration. Her passion resonated deep within him. This was more than just a bakery, this was their home, their community, and their lives. He squeezed Jenna's hand tighter, feeling the silent promise electric between them. "So you have a few friends ready to help, right?" Mr. Thompson smirked. "What's your next move? A bake sale? A town meeting?" He chuckled, the sharpness in his laughter slicing Mark's confidence. "Actually, yes," Jenna shot back, her voice unyielding. "This weekend, we're hosting a community event at the bakery. We'll highlight our local vendors and showcase everything we have to offer. And we'll invite everyone, the townsfolk, the skeptics, and yes, even you." The idea rolled off her tongue with a mix of defiance and hope. Mark could sense the energy shift. This was bold, and it could rally support. But could it also lead to repercussions? An event? Mr. Thompson scoffed, crossing his arms expectantly. "Good luck getting anyone on your side." "Watch us," Mark said, finally finding his voice. "We'll remind everyone what the bakery means. We'll show the community what it looks like to stand together. They won't be able to ignore us." The weight of Mr. Thompson's disapproval was heavy, yet Mark felt a flicker of resolve growing stronger. He turned to Jenna, who was searching her father's gaze, daring him to push back. "Do as you wish," Mr. Thompson said at last, his voice a cold current. "But remember, I won't make this easy. Don't expect to come to me for help when things go south." Jenna responded coolly, "We'll find our way, Dad. We always have." As Mr. Thompson turned away, tension pulled the air tight around them. Mark watched Jenna's face shift from defiance to worry. "Is he right?" she whispered, her voice just above a breath. "What if we fail?" The fear of failure hovered like a dark cloud. Mark placed a hand over hers, grounding their shared anxiety. "If we fail, it won't be for lack of trying. We'll learn from it, and we will get back up. We have each other, and the community." With the darkness deepening around them, uncertainty spread through his chest, but mixed with that was a sense of unstoppable momentum. The bake sale would be their chance to unite. "We should start planning," he said, his tone brightening. "Let us get the word out." "Yeah." Jenna's smile spread tentatively on her face, but he could see determination shining through those apprehensive eyes. The two of them began to brainstorm ideas for the event, their excitement slowly building as they mapped out whom to invite and what they could offer. But as they stood there, listing hopeful possibilities, a voice from behind them called out, "What's going on here?" Turning, they saw Vanessa, the town's well-connected journalist, and a friend of Jenna. She sensed the tension and intrigue in the air. "Vanessa," Jenna called out, her face lighting up. "We need your help." Mark's heart raced. This could be a turning point. If they could rally not just the community but also the support of someone like Vanessa, they might just have a shot at preserving the bakery. As Vanessa listened intently, Mark couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. They were about to take a leap into the unknown, with everything on the line. What would it take to turn rumors into action? The stakes were higher than ever, and now they had no choice but to forge ahead into the uncertain night ahead. "Tell me everything," Vanessa said, her eyes lighting up with curiosity. Jenna looked at Mark, then back at Vanessa. "We're hosting a community event at the bakery this weekend, and we need your help to get the word out. We want everyone to know what this place means to us." Mark nodded vigorously. "It's more than just cupcakes and pastries. It's our history, our community's heart. We need to gather support to keep it alive." Vanessa's expression shifted from curiosity to determination. "This could be huge. People love a good story. I can write an article that pulls at their heartstrings." Jenna beamed. "You really think so?" "Absolutely. I'll highlight everyone involved, the local vendors, the stories behind the recipes, and what the bakery means to the people in town. With this kind of coverage, we can draw in a crowd." Mark could feel the spark of hope flaring in his chest. "If we have people talking about it, we'll have a chance." Jenna squeezed his hand again. We can create a delicious menu of samples, and maybe even a storytelling corner where folks can share their memories of the bakery. Vanessa's excitement buzzed in the air. Yes. I can see it all now. We'll do a photo montage, collect stories, maybe even have a local band play. We need to spread the word quickly. Let's start a social media campaign, Mark suggested, his mind racing with possibilities. We can create a buzz online to get people excited. The adrenaline of planning surged through them. A whirlwind of ideas filled the small space of the bakery. They discussed colors for flyers, local vendors who could provide supplies, and even small contests for people to engage with. But as the momentum built, Mark worried about the timing. We only have a few days. What if the turnout isn't what we hope for? I know it feels daunting, Jenna said softly, her eyes searching his. But we have to believe in our community. They love this place almost as much as we do. Her eyes locked onto his, and in that moment, Mark realized that the stakes were more personal than ever. They weren't just fighting for a bakery, they were fighting for every person who walked through its doors. That evening, they worked late, energizing the bakery with laughter and brainstorming until the sun dipped below the horizon. As they merged ideas and visions, the place transformed. It was still a bakery, but on that night, it felt like a home ignited by love and hope, but just as they finalized plans, Jenna's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and her face drained of color. "It's my dad," she whispered, fear creeping back into her voice. "He wants to talk." Mark felt his stomach drop. What could Mr. Thompson want now? "Should we take it here?" Vanessa asked carefully. "No," I think Jenna hesitated, her breath shaky. "I think I need a moment alone." Mark glanced at her, concerned. "You okay?" "I will be," she said, taking a deep breath. "Just give me a second." Jenna stepped outside, the evening air heavy with anticipation. Mark and Vanessa exchanged worried glances. In that quiet moment, Mark felt the weight of everything they were risking. Would Jenna's determination stand strong against her father's influence? As Jenna's silhouette disappeared into the deepening dusk, Mark couldn't shake the feeling that what lay ahead would change everything. Would Mr. Thompson's words shatter their fragile plans, or could they withstand the storm? The tension hung heavy, the night's uncertainty lingering like a shadow. This was just the beginning, but would it end in triumph or despair? Mark and Vanessa stood in the bakery, the comforting scent of baked goods swirling around them, though it felt less comforting in the wake of Jenna's departure. The warmth that had filled the room just moments before began to dissipate, replaced by uncertainty. "What do you think he wants?" Vanessa finally asked, breaking the silence. "I wish I knew," Mark replied, pacing the worn wooden floor. Jenna's had a rough relationship with her dad for a while. If he's come to talk about the bakery, it might not be good. Vanessa leaned against the counter, her arms crossed. But she's determined. She wants this event to happen, and we can't let anything get in her head right now. "I know, but that's easier said than done. She's so deeply connected to this place, and if he brings up anything negative, it could crush her." Mark sighed. They stood in silence, listening to the faint murmur of traffic outside. Mark's heart ached for Jenna. He could only imagine the flood of emotions she was feeling at that moment. The bakery was her sanctuary, a place filled with cherished memories, and her father's call felt like it might threaten all that. Minutes passed, stretching into what felt like hours. Vanessa fidgeted, checking her phone, scrolling through potential posts for their campaign. "Okay, let us focus on what we can control. We need to finalize the flyers and create that social media buzz." Mark nodded, but the weight of dread still sat heavy in his chest. As they worked, each passing minute felt longer. The laughter and excitement they had shared earlier seemed like a distant memory. Then, Jenna re-entered the bakery, her face a mix of resolution and concern. Mark rushed to her, searching her eyes. "What did he say?" Jenna took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. He wants me to take over the family business." He thinks I should leave the bakery behind. Mark's heart dropped. What? Jenna, you can't do that. This place is so important to you. It is. She exclaimed, her voice trembling. But this is my dad we're talking about. I feel like I owe him something. But what about us, Jenna? What about what we're building here? Mark's voice was tight with frustration and concern. I don't know, Mark. She snapped, the tension in her voice rising. I want to make him proud. This is my chance to finally connect with him. Vanessa stepped forward, attempting to bring them back from the brink. You can connect with him without sacrificing what you love most. He might not understand, but you do. This bakery is your passion. It's where your heart is. Jenna looked between them, her eyes glistening with tears. What if he's right, though? What if I'm making a mistake? No, Jenna, Mark said softly, stepping closer. Sometimes the hardest choices are the ones that keep us true to ourselves. You fought so hard for this place, and so have we. You don't have to choose between your family and your dreams. A moment of decision hung in the air as they all breathed in the challenge before them. Jenna looked out the bakery's window, the streetlights glowing like little beacons of hope, reflecting her uncertainty. We can save this place, Vanessa said, her hope reigniting. Let us put everything into the event this weekend. Show your dad how important this is, not just to you but to everyone in this town. We need to make it unforgettable. Jenna nodded slowly, her expression softening. You're right. I won't let him take this away from me without a fight. As they began to brainstorm anew, a wave of determination surged within Mark. The night had taken an unexpected turn, but he felt rejuvenated. What if they could transform this challenge into a core milestone? If we can pull this off, Mark said with renewed strength, it will show not just your dad, but everyone that this bakery is more than a business. It's our home. The three of them huddled together, and as they planned, a sense of excitement and purpose enveloped them once more, but even in that moment of unity, a chilling thought crossed Mark's mind. Would Mr. Thompson truly understand, or would he continue to stand in the way of Jenna's dreams? As they prepared for the challenge ahead, an uncertainty loomed just beneath the surface, waiting to unfold. Jenna's resolve felt like a spark igniting a fire within her. She cast a determined gaze around the bakery, her sanctuary, where every corner breathed life, every recipe told a story. With Mark and Vanessa rallying beside her, the event felt closer than ever. All right, let us break down the plan, she proposed, a slight tremor of excitement in her voice. We'll showcase our best offerings, bring in some local talent for live music, and create a warm atmosphere. If my dad gets to see all the love we pour into this place, maybe, just maybe, it will change his mind. Mark grinned, his eyes bright with newfound hope. Yes. And we can invite the whole neighborhood. Let us make this a celebration of what the bakery means to everyone. It's not just about the pastries, it's about the community. Vanessa jumped in, already envisioning the magic. I can organize a mini photo booth. We can encourage folks to share their favorite bakery memories. Imagine how touching it would be to show your dad the impact this place has had. The energy crackled in the air as they brainstormed. Jenna felt like she was breathing life back into her dreams, each idea igniting a flicker of hope. For the first time since the visit from her father, she felt less like a pawn in his game and more like a queen in her own life. As they wrapped up their session, the weight of Jenna's past danced at the edges of her thoughts. Could her father truly accept her choices? Could he ever see the bakery as more than a failure of his plans? A tightness gripped her heart as she contemplated those questions. Later that evening, Jenna stepped outside, the cool breeze caressing her cheeks. The sun dipped low, painting the sky a beautiful orange, a reminder of how days could end beautifully. She took a moment to soak it all in this bakery, the community, her friends. Hey, you alright? Mark's voice broke her reverie. Jenna nodded, but she couldn't hide the flicker of anxiety in her eyes. What if he shows up at the event? What if he disapproves? I want this to work. Mark stepped closer, his presence a solid wall of reassurance. You have more support than you realize, Jenna. If your dad comes, he'll see it. Even if he doesn't understand fully, he'll see the love. The hope in his voice wrapped around her like a blanket. She had to believe that love and a great event could transcend misunderstandings. The next few days became a blur of baking, crafting flyers, and setting up decorations. Jenna poured her heart into every cupcake, every frosting swirl, her feelings melting into the dough. If she could channel her emotions through the pastries, maybe they would speak for her when words failed. Then came the day of the event. The bakery buzzed with excitement. Friends and neighbors lined up, laughter spilling outside like a sweet melody. Jenna stood behind the counter, heart racing, as she watched people enjoy their treats and snap pictures in the photo booth. Familiar faces smiled back at her, their happiness echoing what the bakery had always meant, but as the hours passed, the bubble of joy around her began to wane. Jenna's dad hadn't shown, and the swell of anxiety returned. What if he doesn't care? She whispered to Vanessa, who was busy with a camera, capturing the festivities. Don't go there yet. Enjoy this moment. Remember why you love this place, Vanessa encouraged, and Jenna took a deep breath, reminding herself of the journey. As the evening wound down, she spotted a familiar figure in the doorway. Her heart skipped a beat. It was her dad. The world faded around her, the music muffled as she swallowed hard, her pulse quickening. What would he say now, standing among all that she loved? An uncomfortable silence stretched as he stepped inside, eyes darting around, assessing. Would this be a moment of understanding or the beginning of a battle? Jenna's heart raced with uncertainty. Would this be the night everything changed for better or worse? Jenna's breath caught in her throat. She felt exposed, like a stage performer under a spotlight, every flaw likely magnified in her father's gaze. The laughter and chatter around her faded into a dull buzz, replaced by the thundering of her heart echoing in her ears. There was her dad, looking both out of place yet somehow at home in the bakery she had built. She noticed the way his brow furrowed and his mouth tightened, surveying each sweet creation on display. He took a step inside, brushing off the sticky summer heat as he moved through the crowd of people. Dad? She found her voice barely a whisper, but it hung in the air, powerful in its simplicity. He turned at the sound, his face momentarily softening before settling back into that familiar expression of skepticism. Jenna, he replied, his tone neutral yet loaded with unspoken words. She braced herself for what came next. You have quite the turnout, he noted, though it felt more like an observation than a compliment. The pride that should have swelled with those words was absent, leaving Jenna feeling like she was standing on shaky ground. Thanks, she said, forcing a smile as she gestured to the vibrant display of muffins, cakes, and cookies. I wanted to show everyone what this place means to us. It's not just a bakery, it's a community. Her father crossed his arms, adopting a posture that felt defensive. And what of your dreams, Jenna? Was this really what you wanted? Making pastries? His words sliced through her, leaving her momentarily speechless. This is about more than just baking. It's about connection, love, and finding joy in creating something meaningful. Around them, the joyous atmosphere hummed. Laughter erupted as friends posed in the photo booth, capturing moments Jenna had orchestrated with care. But she felt disconnected, adrift in a tide that pulled her one way while her father anchored her to a past she was trying to escape. I don't want your dreams reduced to whims. This bakery. He looked away, as if the thought itself was unpleasant. It's just not what I envisioned for you. The words hung between them, a painful reminder of their past conversations. Jenna felt a surge of defiance. You keep forgetting that I'm not the little girl you used to direct. I'm a woman. This was my choice. They locked eyes. In that moment, something shifted, a crack in his hard exterior. She wondered if he could see the little girl he once knew. The girl who lost herself in flour and sugar, crafting delicate sweets while dreaming of a future she could claim for her own. Do you even see it's not about the bakery? It's about finding a place where I belong, Jenna continued. She felt fiercely alive, her emotions bubbling to the surface. This community has lifted me, they've shown me love when I thought I was alone. Her father fidgeted under her gaze, grappled with her words. She wanted him to understand but feared he'd dismiss her feelings yet again. Suddenly, everyone burst into applause, drawing her dad's attention. The mini photo booth had produced a slideshow of memories, joyful moments stitched together like a patchwork quilt. These were the faces of her support system, the people who believed in her, the ones who laughed and cried with her. As he watched the images flicker across the screen, the tension in his shoulders seemed to soften. His frown deepened, though. Was that a glimmer of understanding? Or was it frustration at how things had turned out? Maybe I'm not as wrong as I thought, he muttered, barely loud enough for her to hear. The vulnerability in his voice sparked something inside her, igniting curiosity. Could he really be beginning to see her world? Jenna took a cautious step forward, her heart pounding in her chest. Can we talk? Just you and me? I want you to truly hear what this all means to me. He hesitated, his eyes still flicking to the joyful faces on the screen. Sure, he said cautiously, the weight of a mountain of unspoken emotions almost palpable. As they moved toward the quieter corner of the bakery, the air heavy yet hopeful, Jenna wondered if this could be the turning point they both needed. Would her father finally understand? The question danced in her mind, a beacon of possibility amid the uncertainty. Their next conversation could change everything. As they settled into a quieter corner, surrounded by the humming of the bakery, Jenna's heart raced. She had longed for this moment, an opportunity to peel back the layers of years of misunderstandings. Her father's presence felt like a riptide, pulling at her with both a sense of anxiety and excitement. Tell me, she urged, her voice barely above a whisper. What is it you really think about all this? About me? Her father shifted in his seat, a myriad of emotions flashing across his face. He began, his tone heavy. I never thought you'd want this. I envisioned something bigger. Something with more stability. Jenna frowned. Stability? This place is all I ever wanted. I'm creating something real here. Making a difference in people's lives. He ran a hand through his hair, a tell she recognized from her childhood when he felt cornered. You were always so talented, Jenna. I pushed you because I wanted better for you. It was never about not believing in you. A breath caught in his throat. She could see the struggle within him, balancing pride and regret. Do you really think I don't grasp what this means to me? She pressed on, fueled by a combination of vulnerability and determination. When I'm in this bakery, I'm home. I'm surrounded by people who support me, who work with me, who believe in what we're doing. His gaze dropped to the floor, the conflict evident. But what if it all falls apart? You knew my struggles, you watched me fail. Tension climbed in Jenna's chest. And that's the point, Dad. You showed me how to get back up, to fight for what matters. You never stopped trying. He looked up, finally meeting her gaze, and for the first time, she saw a reflection of her own heartache in his eyes. I just want you to be happy, he said softly. Her heart swelled. Then trust me. This is where my happiness is rooted. Not in some corporate ladder or titles. I'm finally being true to myself. An uncertain silence fell between them, charged with the possibility of resolution. Jenna could feel the walls they had both built beginning to crack, the years of misunderstandings crumbling down like stale bread. His hand hovered, uncertain. I don't want to lose you. You want to lose me. But you have to see me for who I am now, not who you wanted me to be. Time seemed to stand still as her words lingered in the air. Could he grasp this? Could he embrace her choices, simple and yet profound? In that heartbeat of silence, her phone buzzed, breaking the moment. She glanced down to see a text from her best friend, "Don't forget about tonight's meeting. Excited to see what's next." The urgency of her friend's message pulled her back and widened the gap that had just begun to bridge. Yet it sparked a new thought in her mind. "Dad," she said, desperation lacing her words. "I'm inviting you to the meeting. I want you to see this place, really see it, and these people who mean so much to me." His response was delayed, the weight of Jenna's request pressing against the fragile bridge they'd begun to build. She watched him process, the flickers of apprehension etched across his face. "I'll try," he said slowly, almost cautiously. Jenna's heart soared. A thread of hope had been woven between them, but she knew it was just the beginning. She needed to take him deeper into her world, to let him embrace all the pieces that made up her life now. As the crowd around them continued to celebrate, Jenna felt a mix of anxiety and anticipation. Could she help him understand her journey, the value of her dream? And what if he saw something in that meeting that changed everything, something neither of them was ready for? The thought lingered in her mind, a new spark igniting a wave of curiosity and trepidation. What awaited them both on this path toward understanding? Jenna stood in front of her bakery, the sun filtering through the colorful streamers that flapped in the light breeze. The aroma of freshly baked pastries floated through the air, wrapping around her like a warm hug. This was at the day she had long envisioned. A crowd began to gather, filling the street outside. Friends, families, and neighbors brought a vibrant energy that bolstered her spirits. Mark stood beside her, their bond forged through late nights and shared dreams, now palpably strong. He caught her eye and smiled, a smile that whispered promises of courage and support. "Are you ready?" he asked, his voice calm but laced with excitement. Jenna took a deep breath, feeling the thrum of her heartbeat quicken. "Ready as I'll ever be," she replied, pushing past the lingering doubt. As they opened the doors, an eruption of laughter and cheers greeted them. Faces lit up with anticipation, the community had come out in full force. Jenna glanced around, her heart swelling. This moment was a testament to the long journey she had taken. "Welcome, everyone. Today isn't just about the bakery, it's a celebration of our community," Jenna announced, her voice ringing out clear and confident. As she laid out the plans, she felt a current of support beneath every word. Mentioning the stories they collected about the bakery, the memories that were stitched into the very fabric of this place stirred something inside her. She could see familiar faces nodding, recalling their own moments of joy within those walls. Hours flew by as Jenna poured her heart into every interaction, serving pastries and sharing stories. Laughter echoed around her, a harmonious symphony that soothed any lingering worries. But she still found herself searching the crowd, looking for that one familiar face, her father. Would he truly come? Just as that familiar twinge of disappointment began to worm its way into her heart, she spotted him standing awkwardly at the edge of the crowd. He looked torn between curiosity and disbelief. Good, he had come, and now it was time for their true connection to unfold. "Dad!" Jenna waved, her voice breaking through the sound of bubbling joy around her as she approached him. Her father looked different, stripped of his usual air of authority, his defenses lowered under the bright light of community spirit. "You have quite the operation going here," he said, glancing at the enthusiastic crowd. "See. This is what it means to us." "To me," she replied earnestly, gesturing to the smiles and warmth surrounding them. She explained the event, a bake-off involving local vendors, a storytelling corner, a photo booth, everything that showcased the essence of the bakery. "This isn't just about pastries, it's about belonging. It's about our community coming together." As she spoke, she felt like each word was alive, sparking a flicker of realization in her father's eyes. "How can you believe in this so deeply?" he asked, genuine curiosity shining through. "Because it's what I've always wanted. This is where my heart is, where I feel at home." With earnestness, she invited him to share a moment in the storytelling corner. "I want you to hear their stories. You'll see what you mean to me and how deeply we're all intertwined." He hesitated, apprehension flickering in his gaze, but vulnerability softened his features. "Alright, I'll listen." A rush of gratitude flooded through Jenna. As they walked over to the gathering, she led her father to a place that sparkled with memories, people sharing stories filled with laughter and warmth, tales of love baked into every recipe passed from generation to generation. As they listened, her father's expression transformed. The jokes, the nostalgia of shared experiences thickened the air with sentiment. There was laughter, but also the unmistakable realization that this was something big. Something worth fighting for. Finally, her father leaned in close and whispered, "I see it now. This isn't just a bakery. It's a fortress of connection. It's home." Jenna's eyes sparkled with unshed tears of relief. "Yes. This is what I've been trying to tell you." The warmth of understanding enveloped them as the event wound down, and the evening light shifted to hues of deep blue. Jenna knew that whatever happened next, they had begun to rebuild a bridge that had long been eroded by fear. Her heart felt light as she glanced at Mark, who stood a few feet away, beaming with pride as if he had become a part of this beautiful moment. "You were right," he said softly as Jenna joined him. "You've shown your dad the heart of the community and what's at stake." Her father approached them, a new softness in his eyes. "Jenna, I've made mistakes. I let my fears dictate what I thought was best for you. I want to support you. All of this is worth it." A wave of emotion washed over Jenna, hope, love, and enough determination to carry them forward. "Thank you, Dad. I just need your trust, and I promise to make you proud on my terms." As the laughter and chatter faded gently into the night, Mark took Jenna's hand, squeezing it tightly. The moment felt electric, a beautiful truth forming in the space between them. They would tackle whatever storm came next together, an unstoppable team with renewed hope. The future was uncertain, but this was just the beginning. The bakery stood as a vibrant symbol of resilience, harmony, and love. Together, they had forged a new path. "That's the spirit," Mark said, nodding toward the gathering energy around them. "Let us keep fighting for all of this." "Together," Jenna replied, a bright smile gracing her face, and together, they would continue to transform their community and their lives, one sweet creation at a time. Hey, before you go, you need to subscribe now to the channel for more heartwarming stories like this. This is the moment to show your support. Hit that like button right now so we can reach more people together. I want to hear what you think about the ending. Comment below with your feelings. And don't wait not even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. It's time to spread the love.